I get here? Huh?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Jay, and let me introduce the show for those of you who are not familiar with this yet. Welcome to How Did I Get Here, which is where we live our best lives on the internet and come out the other side knowing more, but not feeling all that much smarter. Now, I ask the same question every episode. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. And you probably don't either, but we will at the end of the podcast. I can promise you that if you end up sticking around. I'm your host. My name is Jay. And before we go into the meat of the subject today, I want to remind you to subscribe to the podcast, also leave a review, and check out our sister and brother podcast clips on youtube.com/dive studios. And also don't forget to turn on notifications and subscribe. Alrighty. So for the question of today, it's an interesting one for sure. Have you been lonely recently?
No, because people are in quarantine.
Okay. I see. All right. The question that Diane has been thinking of all week is how long can someone be alone? And that's the question. But I think what we're really asking is how long can someone be alone without mental repercussions, right?
Yeah, without going stir crazy.
Right, without going a little crazy. And I feel like this is a really super relevant topic these days because of self-quarantine. So the main question of today is how long can someone be alone? Wasn't there a movie of some guy who got stranded in the ocean?
Castaway, Tom Hanks.
Castaway. Anyway, we're going to jump into the first topic of today.
Yeah.
And the first topic is why do we crave alone time in the first place? Which is something that's super significant. I feel like a lot of people do crave alone time, but some people can't afford that luxury. Like they either live with their family or a significant other. And especially for introverts, I totally get it. You need your time alone because that's how you recharge. Extroverts recharge energy by being with other people, right? Being alone can also free the mind from a phenomenon called the spotlight effect. When in public, we tend to overestimate the extent to which others notice our accomplishments and mistakes. And when alone, our brains can stop imagining that our actions are on full display. Super big thing that happens when we're out with friends. They have a phrase for this in Korea, once again. I don't know how to say it in English. It's called 이불킥. When you are about to sleep at the end of the day, your mind tends to wander and recollect memories from that day and what happened, right? You think of something stupid that happened, corny, cringe, whatever it may be, and you 이불킥. You're like, why did I do that? Kicks blanket. That's called 이불킥. I have so many of those, but then I feel like mine aren't more so recent events. Mine are from high school.
Do you think the spotlight effect for you is a little worse considering that you are a public figure?
I think it's a little bit easier. I mean, we do have to constantly think, and the spotlight effect does take effect, but it's kind of, it's a positive impact for us because we always do have to be careful about what we say and what we do. So being overly conscious, maybe even more so than the normal person about our actions or words we say and how they might be impactful on certain kinds of people is actually a positive thing for us because that's just another barrier that protects us from saying something stupid.
Because of that, the spotlight effect and being alone, the reason that people crave being alone is, as the article says, the freedom of knowing that no one's looking at you.
Yeah.
No one's there to judge you for how you behave. So you are at your most natural state.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, spotlight effect is basically when you're just over analyzing the things that you've done that people just let go of and don't think of. Let's say you said something stupid yesterday with your friends. No one remembers it in your friend group, but you remember it for the next month. And you're beating yourself up over it. Spotlight effect.
Well, it's more about things in the moment. So it's more like how a part of your brain is too distracted by the idea that someone might be looking at you. So you kind of stiffen up or you change the way you would have doing the exact same thing if you have been more confident that you were completely alone, no one was watching you.
Okay, spotlight effect. Basically, you overthinking things while you're doing them because of the perception that people are watching you do it.
Yes, being self-conscious.
Gotcha. So it says in one study, people were left alone for 6 to 15 minutes with no distractions except a device that administered electric shocks. To the researchers' surprise, nearly 70% of men and 25% of women chose to shock themselves. That's shocking.
That's a
itself.
big disparity in the statistic.
I mean, guys, I feel I would have shocked myself too.
Really?
I would have been curious. I would have been really curious. Men do some dumb things. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, man.
Impulsive.
Right? Maybe it's just a person thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure it's by people's level of curiosity and like sense of awareness.
Right. Because I get bored. I'm like, it's there and you're just looking at it. So I feel like the first 6 minutes, if you're only there for 6 minutes, the whole 6 minutes, I'd just be looking at it and be like, should I shock myself or not?
But that 7th minute, you're like, ow.
I'm curious. I'm so curious what it feels like. But yeah. Anyway, another version of the study, participants were told to sit alone in their home with their thoughts for 10 to 15 minutes. More than half confessed to cheating by getting up from their chair or distracting themselves with phones or music. Yeah, that's me. 100%. I cannot stay still.
You would benefit so much, not you listening, you, Jay.
Yeah.
You benefit so much from like guided meditation. Your memory would come back. You would have less.
Anxiety.
I mean, I don't want to promise things, but you know, people with anxiety and insomnia tendencies use meditation as a way to resolve those issues.
I had a personal breakthrough a couple weeks ago. You know how I've always said, for everyone that knows me and that's followed me during my adventure with DAY6 or as an artist, they know that I can't sleep at night. It's hard for me to sleep, right? I've realized that it's due to anxiety. I really didn't know that.
Knowing you and everything you've told me about you, I know for a fact the reason you're up is because your mind is already running through the next day.
Yeah.
And the things you have to do.
Yeah.
And so you're too busy trying to prepare your mind for all the things you have to get done and how you're going to do it, that it's keeping your brain too active from falling asleep. You're not even thinking about the fact that you're lying in a bed.
Yeah.
I feel like I've told you that.
I feel like we've had this conversation.
I feel like I first told you that and you went like, yeah, where am I? They're like, Dan, I have to go shoot something.
Guys, get some sleep, man. Sleep is important. We're going to move on to the next article. And the next one is titled, How Extreme Isolation Warps the Mind. Perfect. We're talking about Castaway, right? I guess this would be a representation of that. The article starts, for starters, isolation messes with our sense of time. One of the strangest effects is the time shifting reported by those who have spent long periods living underground without daylight. Interesting. I didn't know about this. In 1961, French geologist Michel Siffre. Please, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Michel Siffre led to a 2-week expedition to study an underground glacier beneath the French Alps and ended up staying 2 months because of his fascination with the darkness and how it affects human biology. He decided to abandon his watch and live like an animal, quote unquote. And while conducting tests with his team on the surface, they discovered that it took him 5 minutes to count to what he thought was 120 seconds. Your sense of time gets distorted.
Yeah.
I could totally understand how that works. You're in this cave for the longest time, pitch black. You decide to live like an animal, right? I wonder how he got food.
Fish? I don't know. Maybe he had food with him, like he brought with him.
Okay, so maybe he had the food, but either way, he's been there for like 2 weeks. You don't know if it's day or night because it's dark. You kind of just start losing sense of time and you lose yourself, right?
Yeah.
I could totally see that. I wouldn't be able to count time either. I can't even count time now.
That's been a big joke on social media during quarantine. People saying, like, I have no idea what day it is.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world, ladies and gentlemen.
DAY6?
I don't, because the thing is, my brain kind of works like, just think about the next day and prepare for the next day.
Time moves fast for me because I'm thinking about next month.
Oh, goodness.
So when months pass, like, when it's like December, I'm like, because like work. Because for people like us, it's all about projects and deadlines and when projects launch.
Right.
And so you're thinking towards launch. So if launch is, let's say, it's September, launch is November, your brain keeps thinking in terms of November.
Yeah.
And you don't know where September and October went.
Yeah, you're just floating by thinking of only the future.
Yeah. And anyway.
No, I totally get you.
Let's be happy.
I totally get you. You know, I feel like I kind of relate to that as well. But like I said, I had a moment. I had a moment of realization, a massive rude awakening, epiphany a couple weeks ago. And at that point, I realized that living in the future kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You forget to enjoy the present.
How many times have I said the word mindfulness to you?
Dude, I didn't even know what that meant until like
many.
that time.
That's literally what I'm talking about. Practice mindfulness.
It's so hard. We're going to move on to the next article. And the next article starts with social interaction is critical for mental and physical health. True, we were talking about this. A doctor from Stanford suggested that a societal decline in social connectedness may help to explain recent increases in reports of loneliness, isolation, and alienation, and maybe why loneliness has become a leading reason people seek psychological counseling. True. You think social connectedness has declined because of the rise of social media and that people could be interacting without actually having to interact physically?
100%.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because I think this is my personal opinion, a big important thing about interaction is that it's a two-way street and that both sides feel heard.
Right.
It's one thing to put your thoughts out there and your comments and even replying to people, but the sense of feeling like understood and heard and that someone actually cares about what you got to say, it's not the same as posting a tweet.
I agree with that.
Totally
agree with
posts are so filtered nowadays. It's a persona people put on typically. Yeah. You're not 200%, you know? You're putting up a certain image, even as genuine as you think you might be.
Right. I do totally agree that sometimes your online persona could seem a bit disingenuous. I mean, they probably are telling you the truth and what you think, but they may be packaged in certain ways, you know, that make it more acceptable.
But also, it's a lot of comparison. That's also loneliness.
Yeah.
You see, like, let's say you watch a lot of vloggers who have time and money and like beautiful friends. Yeah. And you're thinking like, why am I not like that? Why don't I have friends like that? You know, why aren't people paying attention to me? You know, so it's also self-comparison.
Yeah. You know what I also think? What? I agree with that. It's comparison as well. And I think another factor is that social media allows you to be anonymous, right? Yeah. And I think it gives you a lot of negativity due to the fact that you can be negative sometimes if your face isn't on it. Anyway, but yeah, I think it allows for more negativity too. Like you see all these negative comments on it. I mean, at the same time, social media can bring people together, but... Yeah, like I know a lot of friends that make friends through like, you know, Instagram or games even. People meet them randomly on an online game. They become friends, great friends. This happens a lot in like RPGs. Yeah. Like World of Warcraft. Sponsor me. Oh, I know so many people who've had World of Warcraft girlfriends. I'm looking at someone. I'm looking at one person right now. Damn, I was the kind of guy that was trying to get a girlfriend in MapleStory and it never worked out. My mom would never let me swipe that card to get the rings. Is that how it works? Yeah, you gotta get the rings and then you gotta propose, man. That's how it works. That's so funny. Back in the 5th grade. Oh my gosh. Good times, friends. Good times. Play a J. But yeah, moving on with that, with the article. Yeah. By 2004, she wrote, sociological research revealed that more than 25% of Americans had no one to confide in. They lacked a close friend with whom they felt comfortable sharing a personal problem. That's so true. I feel like especially my generation or our generation, we kind of grew up with media, right? And then we grew up with like technology and people started to become more distant. They wouldn't hang out as much. When we were younger, we were all still hanging out, like even in high school and stuff. Dude, right? When the phone would get hot in your ear. Yeah. Because you're on the phone for like 3 hours with your friend whose number you've memorized. Or like if it wasn't a wireless, you'd be like stuck to the kitchen wall for 3 hours and your arm would hurt and you have to like switch over to the other side. Yeah, and the mom would be like, "Put down the phone, I gotta call somebody." Yeah. Those times. Like we get away with scattered conversation, like staggered conversation. Yeah, and people, I think another thing that's causing modern loneliness. We sound so old. We are pretty old. We apologize if you're a little younger than us and we're kind of harping, but you know, whatever. I'm sorry, we're providing you new perspective. New perspective
Or old, I guess.
and past experiences, old perspective.
Yeah.
I'm almost 30. I'm 30 in Korea next year. I don't know. Just overall, I totally agree. I could totally see why 25% of Americans had no one to confide in. You know, it used to be like you have to have a best friend. And I think another factor that applies to that is before the whole social media craze, people were more open about saying things with their friends and they were more trustworthy. But now I feel like trust has gone down as well. Another point of this article was that Texas researchers pointed out that social interaction can enhance good health through a positive influence on people's living habits. True. For example, if none of your friends smoke, you'll be less likely to smoke. According to the researchers, the practice of health behaviors like getting regular exercise, consuming a balanced diet, and avoiding smoking, excess weight gain, and abuse of alcohol and drugs explains about 40% of premature mortality as well as substantial mortality. What is he even saying? I'm going to summarize this. 1 second. So I think they're saying that social influence of bad habits explains about 40% of premature mortality in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And that's substantial. 40%? Wow. That statistic's crazy. I didn't know that it'd be so high.
Like, you know, when I think about it, like, I'll know to go hiking because somebody was like, hey, you want to go on a hike with me?
Like one time and then you just got lost in it.
And then
right?
you're like, oh, wow, like that was great. We should do that again.
Yeah. Influences, well, nature versus nurture again, but influences really like develop who you are as a person.
Of course.
Yeah, I could totally see that. So make sure the moral of this article is to try to get good friends and be around good people.
Yes, it really does matter.
Yeah.
You know, you should rather have 2 really good people around you than like 100 people who don't care about you at all.
And going back to the whole disingenuous thing about people who are trying to keep up a certain image because of possible repercussion, like social repercussions, that's important. And it's good to be morally aware. And I'm not saying you got to disable all the rules, but for other things where they're angry and they're frustrated, you want friends that are able to be completely genuine with you.
Yeah.
And tell you you're wrong when they think you're wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so yes men feel good.
Sycophants.
What?
That's just a fancy word for yes men.
Sycophants.
Yeah.
Feel good. Real friends are good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the theory here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess today we learned.
No, people cannot survive alone.
Yeah, how long can someone be alone? No, yeah, you're right.
It hurts. It's hurtful.
It physically, mentally drains you, and it's harmful for you overall. Try to make good friends. Try to make genuine people in your life.
And be the person who reaches out if no one's reaching to you.
That's important too, because some people are like, well, he or she never said let's hang out. I mean, if you vibe with them, maybe it's your turn to be like, hey, let's kick it. Let's go do something.
I have a rule of 3
Whoa.
about new friends.
Okay.
I don't care about seeming like aggressive about like wanting to hang out. Like I really don't care. I'm not shy about stuff like that. I'll literally be like, come over, do a puzzle. Let's go here. Like, let's get dinner. I don't care if I just met them once. If I think they're cool and like they could be a potentially good friend, I will 100% do it. Because it's like, what? Worst case scenario, they say no.
Yeah.
And life goes on.
Yeah.
So, but for me, first time they say, oh, I'm busy. Totally get it. I don't care. I'll be like, next time. Second time, I invite them. Ooh, okay, like, can we try for like next week or something? Like, oh, sorry, blah, blah, blah. Third time.
Yeah.
If they say no or like they can't, and on top of that, they don't go back to you being like, reach out to me to hang out about things, then that's when I know, oh, they don't want to hang out. I take the hint and I drop it and I move on. But I give opportunities because I'm busy too. I've said no to people that I really would want to hang out with because I got shit going on.
True. Very true. This feels personal.
Huh?
This feels personal.
I've never once asked you to hang out.
Spotlight effect.
I dropped you from the get-go.
All right, but guys, so basically today we learned that people cannot be alone. Make genuine friends, good connections equal a great life. All right, and now we're going to rest our ears with a song called 50 Proof.
Is 50 Proof the one that you said was your favorite so far?
Yeah. I really like that song.
It's a good one.
I like it. Did you listen to it?
Yeah.
Dope. You want to hear the next one later?
Yeah.
It's dope. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. And now that we've answered Diane's questions, we are going to reciprocate the love and answer yours. So the first question that came in for me today was from Colleen at everyhow6. Question for Jay. Do you legit laugh or smile at least when you send ha 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 or laughing emojis? Or you send it with just a straight face? Straight face. I don't really laugh at text. I very rarely laugh.
Oh, really?
I like messages, unless like a meme and I'm cracking up. Do you like verbally ha 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 when you like?
I'm very audible.
Interesting.
My I've had multiple roommates in the past tell me that like they'll be in the other room and it'll be dead silence for me. They know I'm just in my room alone, like on the computer, on the phone.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they'll just hear me go, "What?"
Oh, because of something you saw.
Or like someone texted me something, and then they'll hear me go, "Get out of here." Or like,
wow.
And I'll laugh. I'll be like, "What?" And I'll even like come out and be like, "Someone just texted me this thing. It's so funny." Like,
wait, that's so interesting because you have an internal monologue. I thought people with internal monologues don't talk out loud like that due to the fact that they already have a voice running through their head.
I don't know. It's just me reacting. It's not me narrating anything.
Oh, interesting.
It's me reading it and being like, "Oh."
What's that laugh?
Like
freaky.
Like Disney character.
Oh, I'm a good laugher.
When you do laugh, you're very like loud and like expressive.
Oh, very vocal.
You're not like,
thank you.
You know, like, I like that though. I like people who are good audiences to each other.
I love how you put that just now, that phrase.
Yeah.
I love it when you're a good audience for somebody.
Yeah, you're really like taking it in and you're listening and not like waiting for your turn.
Wow, that's really powerful what you just said.
Sure.
Be a good audience.
Yeah.
That's really important.
I mean, that's basically what we said earlier. It's just like be a listener or whatever. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah. But better
being
phrase.
heard. Oh, yeah.
Better phrase.
This is my second draft.
What was the first one?
The first one didn't leave enough impact. I tried again.
Perfect. Motto for today is?
Be a good audience to each other.
Perfect. And also the computer powered off.
Oh, it's off?
Yeah.
Did the battery die?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Well,
I don't know what the next question is.
Huh?
A few minutes later.
Anyway, so that was the answer for question 1. Question 2 was from Blip at DAY6. Who in Day6 is most likely to go into acting in the future? And I would definitely have to say, I think Youngkay is interested in acting and Seongjin is also interested in acting. Yeah, I think Brian and Seongjin are good at acting. I think Toon's also he reads cues very well. Like comedic cues. I think he's good at that. I cry very well. I'm a really good crier. I've been complimented for that. I used to take acting lessons with Brian before.
At JYP?
Yeah, at JYP. So JY has a bunch of like
you're
different kinds of
tall.
lessons. Huh?
It's because you're tall.
Oh. No, I just said I want to try it.
Oh.
And they're like, okay, they put me in the class. And then my teacher told me, I don't think I would ever choose you for anything other than a crying scene. I was like, cool. I got one thing down.
You start crying because he said that?
Nah, but it was a compliment. So anyway, that is the answer. I think Youngkay or Seongjin. And then it feels like, yeah, I think possibly Toon could be a good actor as well.
Maybe like for comedy or something?
Yeah, I think he has a very specific role that he would fulfill. He'd be very good at that role. Yeah, anyway.
Right.
And that is all the questions for today. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any more questions for me, you can send them with the hashtag HDIGH and let us know what should be our next big question to search. And you can send it to us on IG and Twitter at DDive Studios. Also, youtube.com/Dive Studios. And if you have any personal questions for me like those two from before, you can send it to my socials at JAE_DAY6. Also, don't forget to subscribe and review this podcast, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy that content? If you did, there is more. Please download the full podcast on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dive Studios. Don't forget to turn notifications on to hear and see all your favorite clips as fast as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy that content? If you did, there is more. Please download the full podcast on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at DAY6 Studios. Don't forget to turn notifications on to hear and see all your favorite clips as fast as possible.